How's it going, everyone? Today's video is going to be an update video regarding two franchises on Steam that have been updated recently to improve the games significantly. The two franchises in question are Call of Duty and Resident Evil. To start off, I'm going to go over the Resident Evil side and then we'll go over to Call of Duty. If you play the Resident Evil games on PC, you might have noticed that yesterday you would have seen an update for Resident Evil 4 Classic, Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6 through Steam. I'm going to break down these updates for you all, but I will say that Resident Evil 5's update is the most significant here. To start with Resident Evil 4 Classic, not a lot is known about this update that came out yesterday. The only thing that people have seen so far, supposedly, is that the long loading screens that you could get sometimes on the PC version, where you just get the black screen while you're waiting for it to load between certain areas, is now supposedly fixed and no longer is an issue. Other than that, nothing else is known currently as far as I'm aware regarding Resident Evil 4's update, so it's probably just minor bug fixes most likely. I'm going to quickly jump to Resident Evil 6 update next, and then we'll talk about 5 in a moment, as I want to include another Resident Evil game in the conversation regarding 5's update as well. So regarding Resident Evil 6's update, they've given players the songs, so the entire soundtrack for the game, as well as the art that was like the wallpapers and promotional material that you saw throughout the life period of Resident Evil 6 has now been all added to the install area for Resident Evil 6. So if you were to browse to the install location, you'll now find some folders for the art and the music there, so that's a really cool update. As far as I'm aware, nothing else has been added or changed to Resident Evil 6. At the best, there's probably some minor bug fixes that might have been an issue in that game, but nothing else. Now, the elephant in the room, the update that is the most important out of these Resident Evil games here, Resident Evil 5. If you were like me and you played Resident Evil 5 a long time ago, back when it came out on PC, you'll know that it used to have a client called Games for Windows Live. This is an awful client and every PC player hates it beyond belief. It is a dreadful thing that should never have existed in PC gaming ever, but it's been a nightmare for many games for many years now. A lot of developers also removed Games for Windows Live from their games that used to have them. Good examples here are actually the Batman Arkham games, such as Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Likewise, Capcom actually did do this a long time ago as well, where they removed Games for Windows Live, partially I might add, not fully, from Resident Evil 5, Dead Rising 2 and Dead Rising 2 off the record. Again, they partially removed it, not fully. So they basically took it mostly away and integrated those games into Steamwork. However, what they did leave behind was the ability for players to transfer their saved games from when they played the versions on Games for Windows Live originally over to the Steamworks edition. So they effectively left some Games for Windows Live aspects in there so that players could do this. This was the last aspect of Games for Windows Live that was really left in there, and of course there was like the online functionality, so if you tried to play online with friends and so on, then there were problems here as well. And what many players have had issues with regarding Resident Evil 5 on PC is trying to play online a lot of the time has been very difficult. Some people, and I've actually had this problem myself with some of my friends that I play with, you'll try and play online with your friends and you'll just randomly get disconnected from your games, or you'll try and join and instantly your game will crash on you, whatever it'll be. There was only one way to fix this, which was actually a community made patch that patched out all this issue and sorted out all these problems so that the game was a lot better. However, with this recent update as of yesterday for Resident Evil 5, Games for Windows Live is now entirely removed from that game and is no longer an issue, which is a huge win for Resident Evil 5, especially as in my opinion it's one of the better Resident Evil games to play co-op. On top of that, they also re-added in split screen co-op. For those of you that didn't know, this used to exist back in the PC version, back when Games for Windows Live was fully in Resident Evil 5, but when Capcom chose to partially remove Games for Windows Live from Resident Evil 5 on Steam, they completely destroyed the split screen co-op. I'm not sure why they did this, but they did for some reason. But now that has been put back in again and that works again, so that's awesome for people that want to use that. The pathing of the AI, which was actually a really big problem when they again partially removed Games for Windows Live, the AI pathing was an absolute mess and just the AI was broken. This has now been fixed, so the pathfinding AI issues are now sorted out and the AI is actually useful. They've added in 120 frames per second support now, which is awesome, so you can now play Resident Evil 5 at 120 frames if you wish to. They've added in the option for a higher FOV, which is really handy because in my opinion the FOV is very zoomed in on Resident Evil 5, so now you can just go into the menu and change it, so now you have a much wider field of view, which is great and actually makes the experience of playing Resident Evil 5, from my little experience of trying it out again yesterday, a lot more bearable. QTE Assist, for those of you that don't know, this was actually introduced in Resident Evil 6 6. This is basically where most of the QTEs are auto-completed for you. This is great for those of you that just hate QTEs like myself and really can't be bothered to deal with them in gaming because they're just annoying. And as far as I'm aware, that's all there is that's new to Resident Evil 5's update now on PC. Really awesome update there for Resident Evil 5. Really appreciate you doing this, Capcom. This game is an awesome game, to be honest, in the Res franchise in my opinion, and it's definitely a great one for co-op, so it's nice to see that it's being preserved and actually updated in great ways. So as some of you might be aware, back in 2021 around November I believe, Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City, Lost Planet 1 and Lost Planet 2 were taken down from the Steam storefront. Again, these games contain games on Windows Live and are, to be honest, pretty broken. Especially Operation Raccoon City has quite a few bugs and really needs sorting out. Obviously we have not heard any updates regarding these games or their progress since. Hopefully now that these Resident Evil games that we just talked about have been updated now on Steam, we're getting some work done on these other ones that I've just mentioned and something's happening. I'm hopeful that Capcom is now looking into Operation Raccoon City as well as Lost Planet 1 and Lost Planet 2 and sorting those out for PC so that we get rid of games Windows Live completely. Hopefully Capcom will also be able to fix a load of the bugs with these games, especially Operation Raccoon City, to improve them and make them much better experiences all round on PC for everyone. So if you're a Resident Evil fan on PC right now, it's a good time for you and it's nice to see that some updates have been done. Awesome stuff. Thank you, Capcom. Alright, so now I'm going to talk about the updates regarding the Call of Duty games on PC. You might have seen my live stream I did with Creative last year back in November, talking about the serious issues with older Call of Duty games on PC and how dangerous they are to play for the most part right now. There has now been a beacon of hope as something is now actually being done. And I did say in that stream that if there were any major updates of any kind, I would do an update video talking about that. And here we are. Some major updates are now officially happening. I'm going to talk about Black Ops 4 first, and then I will talk about Black Ops 3, which of course is the huge deal. So for people that didn't know, Black Ops 4 on PC did have two issues that were really not great. So obviously one of them was the exploit where you could get booted offline, and it also had the issue that's been an issue for months now, which is the black market always crashing on the PC version, which of course sucks because then if you hadn't unlocked all the new weapons or camos, whatever it might be, you couldn't do so. As of yesterday, there has been a stealth, I like to call it a stealth in this one because there was no announcement about it, but a stealth update for Black Ops 4 on PC that has now fixed the black market crashing issue on there, so you can now actually go and use the black market happily and do what you want to do. The other problem of course with the exploit, I'm assuming that Treyarch would have looked into that and probably fixed it. I'm sure we'll know from other community members and some of the people that obviously go and look around at these games to see all these exploits, to see what's going on. I'm sure they will update us and let us know if that has been patched out. And the other game that I want to talk about that is getting an update which surprised the hell out of me, and I think every single person in the entire community yesterday when this news broke out, and this is Call of Duty Black Ops 3. In case you never saw my stream or haven't seen anything about this going around the place, Black Ops 3 on PC has been an extremely dangerous game to actually play. The exploits originally started off with mob menus where people were getting IP addresses, and then as a result what they could do is they could corrupt your game data with these mob menus, they could kick you offline, crash your game, they could do many things, and it was a right pain in the arse, and of course made it very difficult, especially for content creators, to be able to play the game as a result of this, unless they played it with the Steam client in offline mode. But if you didn't do this, then it was almost impossible unless you used the fan-made patch by Sirius. And by the way, I do want to just quickly say massive thank you and credit to him for actually caring about the community when it comes to Black Ops 3 on PC and trying to help everybody be able to play the game still in a safe, reasonable environment. So huge thank you to him for doing that. In November's time period, or roughly around then, the exploit that is actually known in the older Call of Duty games, which I will talk about in a little bit, which is the RCE, it's known as a remote code exploit, was out in the open for Black Ops 3, which is extremely dangerous. If there's a game with an RCE exploit in it, what an RCE allows people to do is they can remotely control your PC, and then they can do anything they want for your PC. So they could, if they wanted to, open up your browser. If you have PayPal logged into that, then they could open up your PayPal, get your bank details, likewise go onto your Amazon, find your address. They could literally steal your whole life if they wanted to. They could do anything they like. Black Ops 3 is actually getting an update on PC. It's not out yet, but it should be out at some point this week. This update has come from an article via TechCrunch. So TechCrunch recently had the chance to talk with some of the people in the community who have been trying to fix Black Ops 3 and take a look into it a bit more. Obviously the whole article from TechCrunch goes way more into detail about this, but for this video I'm just going to show you the main part, if you like, that's really vital to everyone to know about, which is the part where they spoke to a spokesperson for Activision and Treyarch called Neil Wood. This guy has come out and told TechCrunch the following: Call of Duty Black Ops 3 was published in 2015 and we are committed in continuing to support the title 8 years following its original release. We are aware of technical issue on the Steam version of Call of Duty Black Ops 3 and are scheduled to deploy an update this week. We thank our community for their continued support. This is huge. This is something that's so serious that they've obviously seen that they need to come back and sort this out. There should be an update coming out for Black Ops 3 some point this week on Steam, which will sort out the technical problems. Hopefully all of the issues will be fixed. It's a big deal, this. It's been absolute hell, Black Ops 3, for about nearly 2 years now. As a result, I can't tell you how thrilled I am, honestly, to see that Black Ops 3 is getting fixed on PC. I almost lost hope that it would ever get fixed, so huge deal that this is actually happening now. And hopefully, but I'm not holding out much hope, Activision, Treyarch, Infinity Ward, and I guess Sledgehammer might potentially go and take a look at those older titles and sort out the remote code problems in them, which would be awesome to do, but at this point I really don't think that's going to happen considering how old those games are now, so don't expect it. I appreciate everyone that sat through the news today. I know there was quite a fair chunk to cover, but anyway, I tried to keep it as condensed as I could. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll see you all in another video very soon.